Hello, welcome back, folks, to more 1v1 action here in Age of Empires 4. And this one should be a doozy, because in the red corner is a long-term retired Australian Terran player. He is iaguz. Okay, I kind of butchered his intro, didn't I? And in the... Wait, did I say the red corner? Oh, that was bad. In the red corner, weighing in at, I don't know, because this information isn't available on Wikipedia, a Taiwanese Age of Empires 2 player. It is DemonSheep. Okay, with that terrible introduction, let's get underway. Welcome, folks, to Russ versus France. That's right, DemonSheep will be playing France, and iaguz is going to be on the Russ. I don't know if it's iaguz or iaguz. I don't know. I'm going to say iaguz. I like it that way. I'm pretty sure it's iaguz because if I remember correctly, this his name is just his last name spelled backwards. We could call him Ethan, but that might be confusing for people that don't follow Starcraft. I say that in a snobby way as if I follow a lot of Starcraft. I'll let you know now, I haven't followed Starcraft for quite some time, and even in the old days, it was loosely. But yeah, let's talk about these openings anyway. So Russ has a very different opening. They tend to rush this hunting cabin, and you can already see immediately that he's even built it quicker than I tend to, because I like to get my lumber camp out a little bit quicker. But I prefer this opening. I need to start doing this one. The reason being, you get your second scout a little bit quicker. He's already sending the first scout over, and this should be to snipe the deer at the back of the base. And I don't think DemonSheep is completely aware of this. It seems due to his name, he has to ignore the existence of deer and go after sheep, because otherwise, how will you have sheep worship you and allow you to summon the true DemonSheep? It's just basic logic. Come on, guys. So, taking advantage of this, iaguz is already moving into the back of his opponent's base, not only able to yoink a few sheep on the way, but once he spots out this close spawn of deer and sees that they are still alive, he should quickly micro this to just snipe out deer quicker. For those that don't know, when you're in range of a deer, if you right-click it, you'll fire an arrow straight away. If you then click off of the deer next to it and then click back on it, you'll fire another arrow. So here you go, he does it. Oh no. Oh no, they almost got him with the garrison. That was so close. So he's actually slow. Oh, okay, I don't think he... Yeah, there we go. He's starting it now. So you do this, you move forward, you click again, and you see you just quickly cycle a second shot. This allows you to burn through deer stacks, I'd say about 4 times quicker compared to waiting for the regular animation. Meanwhile, he's already sniped out this load. Where's his scout gone? Okay, scout returned a sheep. He's looking for another spawn. This is kind of the wrong place to look for spawn, though. For sheep makes sense, but for deer, you won't find more deer back here simply because... if you get one in your base. In a 1v1, you get one in your base, and then the other ones tend to be spread across the open field. In a 1v1, often, I think it's 4, sometimes possibly 5 different deer spawn locations, which means you can't get your max bounty. Remember, the bounty system, the way it works is as you earn the gold treacles from killing wildlife, from killing the Gaia, you'll unlock these tiers which will increase your harvest rates and then allow your hunting cabins to generate gold more often, something that they do based on the number of nearby trees. So for example, this one right here, this number of trees nearby generates 22 per minute. Remember, once you place the hunting cabin, it takes a snapshot of the amount of trees nearby, which is why he's now able to put his lumber camp here, because now it doesn't matter how many trees are here in the next few minutes. All in all, though, it looks like there hasn't been any deer sniping so far, which is surprising. I'm starting to wonder if DemonSheep is aware of this element yet. I don't know how many games DemonSheep has played just yet. Like I said, he comes from Age of Empires 2, so he's well-versed in that. Maybe there's some bad habits in his mind. He's like, oh, I don't want to decay the deer. You don't have to worry about that, by the way. Decay doesn't happen in this game. And it might be that he's not fully versed in the way of Russ. But for a Russ player, having an opponent that doesn't kill the deer is like the biggest boon you can ask for outside of, you know, skill-based matchups and you know, people just misplaying the game. Which, to be honest, this is a misplay of the game if you're not sniping deer. This is cool as well. I love this move from iaguz. He's purposely aggroing the wolf and running them towards his base, because wolf, as far as I've seen, wolf actually never lose aggro. As long as I think this, if you go like over half a screen away, so as long as you keep stopping every once in a while, the wolf will keep chasing. It will then come towards the town, and then you can kill them. And the wolves give 25 bounty. Okay, here you go. So DemonSheep's doing it now, but DemonSheep, he doesn't know about this. I don't think he knows about the attack click, and the move function, because look, he's not sniping them out anywhere near his click. He's just too slow. iaguz is going to get practically all of them here. And that's going to put him up at the tier 2 bounties. He brings in the wolves. The wolves get sniped as well. So he has reached the tier 2 bounty. DemonSheep, in the meantime, has finally arrived in the fuel age behind the timing that was achieved by iaguz. We didn't even get a chance to focus on that because we've been keeping eyes on the deer hunt. And wolves being sniped as well. Remember, wolves don't shot on the map, so you have to pay a little bit more attention. But yeah, this double scout was always going to give iaguz the advantage. But with this many sheep left and this many wolf already being at the tier 2 bounty, he's well set to actually get a really good timing on tier 3 bounty. The other important part about these bounties, right? Remember, they're giving you gold for each of these kills. So notice that you've got a tech up on iaguz, and you've got 134 spare gold, and he still does not have a single person on the gold mine. Really big deal here. It means that he can boom up in terms of wood and food, and that wood can be used defensively or to build military structures, and then you switch some people from your wood line over to the gold mine, and then you can go for example, you can actually go into early knights to try and counteract what your opponent's going to be doing, which is going to be Royal Knights out of the Tech 2 build in the School of Cavalry. Speaking of which, first knight is already out. Still no... Okay, there it is. Yeah, the military build is built a bit further back. So he's got knights coming out. These units are a draw. You can see from the stats they are equal. Of course, the difference is when the Royal Knight player gets the chivalry, they'll be able to heal the Royal Knights over time. So France has an advantage once they research chivalry. The interesting part is they're actually going for each other's eco line. And there's going to be an attempt to snipe out. Wait, did he mess up? What did he charge? I think he got too close. So DemonSheep never got the charge bonus. Remember, the charge bonus, the way it works is if you get a charge in, you do extra damage on the impact hit. It matters more once you've got 2 knights, because then they can do a cycle charge where when they've got the lancers out, they will be able to 2-hit villagers. Yeah, this knight's taking a lot of damage. I think chivalry, yeah, now being researched. So is this his second or third knight? Should be his third, yeah. So 2 knights out already. And this is where you can trade really evenly, as long as you do not lose this Royal Knight like this. Charge in. He can't wrap around on them. But he is forcing, he's actually forcing defensive maneuvers out of DemonSheep early. So he's not getting full trade value before he gets the chivalry up, right? So preferably, you'd like to kind of min-max your damage as you move in and move away. And he has got a third knight come and do that. But if iaguz keeps producing knights, he can actually outmass his opponent in this fight. But I love this move. Like, iaguz is like, okay, so I've got enough invested here. Let's immediately go into getting our hands on the second TC. The reason he's able to do this, by the way, despite having nobody on stone, is due to the Golden Gate build. The Golden Gate build and the economic landmark that you get as Russ allows you to get these charge of supplies. And what these supplies do is they allow you to trade resources. You can see you can trade favorably. So the way it works is you trade 100 gold for 150 food, or you can sell 100 wood for 150 gold. What you do with your early charges as a Rust player is you save at least 2 of them for buying stone. And then with 200 gold, you get 300 stone. And usually, because of the way your wood line is invested into heavily, you have enough to get a second TC. One thing I haven't seen yet, by the way, out of iaguz is him investing into a wooden fortress. It makes sense that he hasn't yet because he went for the second TC, but I'd still love to see him do it now because it increases the drop-off of resources by 20%. So you get 20% extra wood from each of these villages dropping off wood at a town center or a lumber camp in the influence radius of the wooden fortress. So very much worth investing into. Interesting. So DemonSheep, feeling he's the one forced to start walling up, is already palisading the backside. iaguz hasn't done similar. He could, and his walls are actually better and harder to get through. Remember, Russ, it's a bit more pricey to build, but they build 4 or 5 palisade walls, which have double the health. So always worth investing in if you are going to go for a bit more eco. But this Night Patrol is good. The cool thing that iaguz could do, and I hope he does do it now, is he could cycle aggro with a boar. So a really cool move that you can do as a Rust player in this situation, because you want the bounty gold, which is 75, by the way, from the boar. So if he sniped 2 boars, he's almost at his tier 3 bounty. Is you aggro with the scout, and I think he knows, yeah. So scout aggroes, and now if you move the scout away, and you attack with the knights take no damage because the boar doesn't lose aggro from the scout. So there it is, 75 gold. Now to the 415, is there enough left on the map? So he can do another boar, and then he'll be up to 480. And I think he has enough sheep left in base. No, just short. Okay, he'd be 10 short, but what he can then do is when he goes for the tech 3, he gets the hunting cabin. The hunting cabin generates deer over time. And that will allow him to then immediately crack the tier 3 bonus and gather rate for food will be up further, as well as hunting cabins generating more gold. Hunting cabins, by the way, he hasn't actually invested in more of yet. They trickle gold at a reasonable rate. Like, it's 25 a minute, and it costs you 100 wood. So if you math it out, within 4 minutes, this is like already making its cost back, right? Because gold is more valuable than wood in a lot of scenarios, and if we just give them equal benefits, it's just worth it. But I think you would have had a second hunting cabin here near the deer, but because you had the TC, obviously you've got the drop-off point, so you don't need it. Is finally researching horticulture. Still no interest in wheelbarrow. Now let's see if his opponent feels the same way. I feel like I've scarcely been seeing these players get wheelbarrow. He's not even going for horticulture. I think horticulture is definitely worth it. Wheelbarrow, I'm kind of having second thoughts about wheelbarrow. I think it depends on your layout. So like if you're hunting primarily, I think it's better because the carcasses are spread, so there's more movement back and forth between the drop-off point. And I think especially as Russ, you will inevitably eventually do it just because you build more. Because you have more reason to build hunting cabins, you like to have more of them. But let's stop nattering because look, DemonSheep amassed the force of knights. They are coming in now. And it looks like the knights are out of the base right now, so iaguz needs to bring them back around. But there is no eco damage done here other than a slight delay on the harvesting from iaguz. Meanwhile, his eco could no longer be harassed. Well, it could mostly no longer be harassed. I think this has not been completed, DemonSheep. Unless that's bugged and that actually does block. But it looks like there's a gap in his palisade wall from what I can see. But yeah, he's fully walled in, so he's protected now. Oh my god. I double-checked that. Look how close that is to being open. This is such a BS generation, by the way. Can we talk about the fact of one player having 3 exposed choke points and another player having 2 exposed choke points? So the economical investment is lower, and the prioritization of where you focus your defenses is more concentrated, right? All right. Lions charging in. The scouts, they actually take the initial charges. He loses both of them, but that means these knights don't really take any damage. And he needs to cycle these boys away now and not lose any of them. One's going to go down. The chivalry isn't able to kick in for him. A second one falling. So you lose 2 scouts, but you snipe 2 of these knights. You do take some heavy damage on some of your early Rust knights. But overall, this is a really good trade. And if he can get another hit, which he might be able to, he's getting closer with the charge. He's actually pushing through, and he gets him! Oh my god, the way that units push into each other, when they're charging, it seems like the unit interaction is because the way that it works, when units get too close to each other, there's a repelling force between them with their hitboxes. But I think charging has a higher priority, so it pushes you slightly forward as you push away from your friendly unit. And that just allowed him to snipe a third one of these Royal Knights. By the way, now there's a few Spearmen coming out. They're going to re-engage again. Chivalry kicked in for the slightly injured, and that means that iaguz needs to retreat, because remember, the advantage we talked about Knights having, a broken advantage, by the way, that I'm wholly expecting to get moved to tech-free, is the Chivalry bonus that allows these Royal Knights to heal up, even when they're this close to combat, as long as they're not being hit. And now they will get in combat again. He'll cycle 2 away for the moment, but he's trying to wrap onto him. He focuses onto the flank, gets one of these Knights, starts to trade out his own, and he's surrounded him again. It's going to be a second one of the Royal Knights falling. And they do lose 2 more of the Rust Knights. So now he'll back away, knowing that he can't actually snipe them out quick enough. And I think production has continued on the Royal Knight front, but we might actually just see him boom further. He's got plenty of villies right now. I'm pretty sure iaguz has had 57 workers to the 50, because I believe it's still a single TC. His second one finally went up for DemonSheep. So he's expanding as well, but there's no denying that iaguz's economy is ahead. And now look at him. He's starting to palisade up, which means there'll be no more raids coming into his base. And these are just scouts in the meantime in the back of his base. They're not able to threaten him at all. And then you have to question who has the advantage as this goes on. And this is where it gets interesting. Because I think if we're talking about like ultra late game teching, I kind of like Russ a little bit better if you're on even footing going into it. So there's multiple reasons actually. And it's actually tech-free feels really good as a Rust player, because your opponent is still producing Royal Knights to skirmish, and then you can produce Horse Archers which can kite and slowly kill them, right? Because the Horse Archers always move quick enough to keep away, and you just kind of focus fire on them and kite them as you go, a bit like you would with a longbow force against infantry. And then the second play comes at Tech 4 when you get access to the bonkers Streltsy that are just able to stand their ground in melee, but also club people down at range with guns, right? You do have your own kind of counters. You can go hand and cannons, but usually you want to go for the crossbowmen. Crossbowmen don't get any perks, any bonuses against Streltsy, because I'm pretty sure Streltsy are not armored units. They're just tanky and have good melee attack. So really the counterplay is you kind of have to play into archers, or you have to go for hand cannons. Hand cannons can be pretty pricey, and the difference between them and Streltsy is obviously Streltsy don't care if they get melee engaged, while your hand cannons will be in a world of pain if they get melee engaged by these knight lines. I don't know if the game is lagging or I'm lagging. Like, I don't know if this is happening in the game. I'll probably restart the game after this, though. There's a little bit of stutter. Hopefully you guys aren't experiencing that. But yeah, this Nightfall should be enough to repel a Night spam now from DemonSheep. It looks like he's cut it off a little bit. He's still just producing the occasional Night, but he's now eco-locked. And if we look at the income per minute, they are pretty even. iaguz at this stage, I think now that you're fortified up, you maybe just look to keep a defensive force, maybe send someone out to cap the sacred sites once you tier up, because he is now building the high trade house. And notice, by the way, he destroyed this hunting cabin. The reason being is that if you have a hunting cabin and you overlap it with another hunting cabin, they conflict and you won't get the full gold value anymore. So by destroying this one, he can now use the high trade house, which generates an extra 200% gold for the trees nearby. And you'll see, as soon as it techs up and it completes, boom, 159 gold per minute coming out from that building. Also generates the deer required to get his total bounties up. So now he's at the 500 mark. He's going to get even more gold treacle out of these hunting cabins. And we might even see him start building some. This lag is getting very bad, guys. Apologies for this. I'm not quite sure what's causing it as we drag around. But Night Army on the move again. DemonSheep has some spears coming up behind as well. He's going to get close enough to touch spears. And he even snipes one of these Knights out. He didn't focus the one that was one hit from death, so we had to back away. So new hunting cabin goes down. Another hunting cabin here. Food gather rate should boost up for iaguz. There hasn't been an expansion out of the primary base by DemonSheep. Remember, he made the switch over to farms. What is going on here? This is getting pretty laggy. And I'm not sure why. Apologies for that. I think it's a bug in the game, because there's nothing wrong with my task manager. But here you go. He teched up the Knights. So these raw Knights are actually now weaker. These are teched up Knights. These are still Tech 2 Knights, I believe. Yeah, because DemonSheep, remember, he hasn't teched up yet. So he won't win these trades. If you cycle in with iaguz, you'll actually wreck him here. He needs to do it before he burns down the fortified palisade gate and floods in, though. The problem is with these spears here and the battering rams, it's going to be very hard for iaguz to defend himself. And he knows he needs to go in. If you get the charge bonus, it's actually not absolutely terrible and in the end of the world against the spears. So he's going to charge in now. He tries to bait him away, but the spears are still clustered too close. It's going to bait a few units to stay around, so maybe he can keep this repaired up long enough, but it looks like they get through the wall, so the battering ram makes it in. He has got the Mangonel, though. This did buy enough time. The problem is his Knights are stuck on the wrong side of this, so they can actually just charge in on the Mangonel. He's going to have to rebuild the Knight line. He's keeping the main force busy as he drags the attention away. And this eco expansion by iaguz hasn't even been continued yet. He's got a bunch of idle villagers over here. They're into the base. These Knights do outnumber, but it looks like this advantage is starting to come back to iaguz as he starts to produce more in his base. The Mangonel is protected. The Mangonel should be the difference here, as he'll just chase him out of his base. And he's just running him across the map completely away, which is buying more time for iaguz to utilize his tech-up advantage he has, which DemonSheep still can't match. I don't think DemonSheep... Is he building yet? No. He isn't saving up the food or gold. He's all in on the tech too. Look at the trickle of Knights that are still coming in. Spearmen are here as well. Remember, the Mangonel is going to be the difference though. So if he kites him out with the Knights, he'll be able to just snipe out all of these Spearmen. And they're charging straight for it, which will force an engagement line to just try and protect the Mangonel. There it is. Should be able to get another shot out if he turns around. They are in range at the town center now, so the Spearmen need to be very careful. Mangonel starts to snipe him out. They'll try and burn down the Mangonel. They might be able to get it quick enough here. And remember, the siege shop is now gone, so he can't build additional Mangonels. And the main force of Knights are coming back after they've sniped out practically all of the Knights. And now the villagers aren't even reacting. There's just 15 villagers standing here slowly dying. They'll finally garrison. So a small force of Knights are still left. Slight advantage to DemonSheep. And look, the gold mine. The gold line is now exposed, so these few Knights and these Spearmen will snipe out several of these villages if he's not careful. There is a reinforcement of Royal Knights, of Rust Knights rather, trying to come and help. The battering ram is finally dealt with, but it has done some military production damage. Nightline will try to just re-engage. DemonSheep still not going for the tech up, so if you can get to an even footing again as iaguz, remember you will have the advantage because your units are just inherently stronger. There's not enough spear here. And there are plenty of stables. Yeah, he's spamming stables, so he's full on the Knights. He's going to plow them out now. Still no blacksmith, so still no blacksmith, so he's not producing quicker, which is interesting because he can get these out 25% quicker, which is a huge deal for Knight spamming. A little bit costly, but might have been worth it. There you go. The charge is going to be there. We're still lagging. Apologies for that again. The villagers are just looking pretty done. He might get half of them out, but he's going to lose a sizable chunk of these villies. Move away, recycle in. Now they're on the tower and town center. So the arrow fire will assist. That'll give them the advantage. Remember, they do trade better against these raw knights right now because they haven't been vetted up yet. And the spam of arrows out. Needs to be careful with the charges. Even in an even footing, if you get hit by the charges, the bonus damage actually just negates your stronger hitting units right now. There you go. He funnels them into one target. And the villies are continuing to run out because he knows he needs to keep his gold production up if he actually wants to be able to keep producing this kind of sizable clump of knights. And that means he's sacrificing them because DemonSheep just reprioritizes onto the villi line. This might actually get DemonSheep out of the base, but there's a lot of damage done villager-wise here. Is they're just being taken down one by one. Recharge in. Rust Knights now have the advantage, and they are plowing through these knights so quick. And my audio is getting funky too. What on earth is going on here? Bit of a weird one. I hope this isn't doing it for you guys. I'm checking my task manager now. I'm just double checking. Am I, like, have I found some sort of bug in the observing? My CPU is clocked at 100% and my memory, and I have no clue why. What? Okay, Steam seems to be flooding me, and I don't know why. Give me a sec, guys. Apologies for this. Steam has like 1,000,001 overloads here. Okay, apologies. Let's get back to this one. We haven't missed much, though. Other than iaguz getting out of his base for the first time in a while. Spearmen are a deterrent against him, though. These aren't the strongest spearmen, remember, because he still hasn't teched up to tech 3. He's just so invested in this right now. What on earth? Okay, looks like we fixed the problem. I think it was Steam Overlay. Steam Overlay has been really weird for me recently, and it seems it was continuing that habit. I had a browser window open, and it was causing issues. Are we getting audio issues still? There might be slight audio issues, so apologies for that. We'll try and focus on the game as best we can. In fact, until the game is over, for the sake of your ears, I'll put this down to a 8%. That should alleviate the noises. Because I do want to upload this one. It's a really good game. And I don't like doing reruns. I like to give you the actual reactions as the game goes. Instead of trying to look big nerd because I've watched the game 5 times and I just know everything. But what I do know is that iaguz is in a much stronger position right now. So Monastery is going down. He's finally starting to build barracks, so he'll be able to get man-at-arms out. And this will enable him to siege into the base. So he's thinking about getting close enough for battering ram rushes. Looks like there's going to be a Villi expansion here. DemonSheep moving a bunch of villages out. I don't think there's going to be a third TC. This would be really risky in the open. He's going for the keep. So yeah, he's going to try and give himself a defensive standpoint as well as a forward base to actually operate out of. But look at this wrap right now. iaguz has gone all the way around the back. There, of course, are palisades up, but these aren't stone walls. And this is a good time for iaguz to push his advantage. Because remember, DemonSheep only recently teched up into Tech 3. So he was very late on his castle age timing. And the eco advantage is actually, I don't think this is in iaguz's favor. No, okay, so food is keeping up because he has ample farms. In fairness to DemonSheep, I have to give credit where credit is due. The gold, though, the gold is the problem. Because he hasn't expanded anywhere, he hasn't got access to all these extra gold lines. iaguz can switch them over in an instant if he wants to. And in fact, was there a big gold? I think there was a big gold vein here, and this gold vein was just further back. I was kind of confused for a moment. I was like, did DemonSheep start without a big gold vein? But I think he did have one. And his smaller one was over there. So another weird advantage just going the way of the French player. But he got into the base, by the way. He burnt it down really fast. And look at the damage he can do with this eco. It's so spread out. DemonSheep. Not quick enough to react and doesn't really have any way he can hide this many villies. Knights are trying to help. Looks like the Rust Knights are actually just tripping over themselves at the moment. They could turn a fight once they're out of town center range up against these Knights because they do outnumber them. And look, he sees even more just villagers standing still, so he takes advantage, moves in, hits the attack click to turn around and deal with the Knights as well. So a few more villies being sniped out here. Villi count is now 80 for iaguz, DemonSheep up at 85, so you've still got to get more damage if you're blue here to equal out what happened to you earlier. And all the while this is happening, look what's coming out from DemonSheep. He continues for base. The keep goes down. He has a mine as well, so he's getting access to one of the fat gold veins. And he's also starting to build up stables as a front line. More farms exposed, though. The iaguz is just completely catching DemonSheep off guard. He's not paying attention. He has idle workers, and he has a bunch of workers just farming and dying. He got so much value out of this assault. Wow, that has to be like 15 total taken away. Yeah, it's 78 now for DemonSheep. iaguz now has the advantage up at 84. And there's so many idle workers as well for DemonSheep because he's having to force them into garrisons, right? So that's going to drastically affect income. Just look at it right now. DemonSheep's getting next to no income from gold. He's actually sunk all of it into his current troops, so he needs to reproduce these lines quickly and get some gold intake fast. Or he will not be able to siege. Because look, the man-at-arms come out, and the knights as well. He's countered out DemonSheep's play. There are no crossbowmen either. Yeah, there's not been, like, archery ranges. Does anyone see an archery range? Does anyone know how to hold a bow in the French kingdom? No. Not even a crossbow. So the keep will be able to repel the Russian forces, because there's no way you're getting through a keep fast enough here, especially with 14 people garrisoned inside. But he's just focusing out the villies. He doesn't care. He just zergs in on this because he's like, okay, fine, I maybe lose some military, but I can replace them because my economy is healthy. Yours is being burnt to a crisp left, right, and center as he's going to snipe out all these gold villies. And that means that now, DemonSheep, down to 76 compared to iaguz up at 90. His eco can boom far past what DemonSheep can achieve here. The Taiwanese player now looking on the ropes. And finally, he will strike back. He will find some of iaguz's spread out eco, but he won't find much of it. Warrior Monk, in the meantime, catches both sacred points. There's still one left over here behind the keep, but now the keep being burnt down. There's too many man-at-arms here. They are going to be able to just burn this keep to a crisp. And I don't know how much DemonSheep's got left at this point. His military is all spent. He's got none left. It's just this small group of knights, 6 of them, and that is literally it. And he calls GG. iaguz takes the win.